Welcome to EP Daily. Today on the show, Arnold battles zombies in the rundown.
Plus, Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart show us how to get hard.
Just keep your head.
Ow! Oh!
And then we review the new Ben Stiller and Naomi Watts movie, While We're Young.
You would make such good parents.
Also coming up, we break into business with a review of Adventure Capitalist, get a sexually transmitted demon in the horror film It Follows, and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EV Games. I'm your host, Marissa Roberto, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day. If you thought Dragon Age Inquisition had a lot going on, just wait to get a load of this. It's called The Rundown. The massive world of Dragon Age Inquisition has gotten a little bigger, but not for everyone. The first big batch of DLC for the game, known as Jaws of Hakan, is out now on the Xbox One and PC, but not the PS4. It's a timed exclusive for Microsoft, which means it will be released on Sony's console eventually, but developer BioWare hasn't said when. A lot of big games have timed exclusivity on certain consoles. For example, Call of Duty's DLC hits the Xbox first, while Destiny players on the PS4 and PS3 got exclusive content that wasn't released on the Xbox. Hopefully Sony fans won't have to wait too long for the new Dragon Age DLC. Arnold Schwarzenegger is fighting a zombie outbreak in his latest movie, but not in the way you might think. Take a look at the Governator's latest film, Maggie, where he plays a man struggling to save his daughter after she's been infected with the zombie virus. He'll have to race against time to find a cure before it's too late, and don't expect this to be just another dumb Arnold action movie. It appears to be going for a much more dramatic vibe, and Arnold himself says that it's the most human role he's ever played. Maggie will premiere at the Tribeca Film Festival next month and then hit theaters and video-on-demand services on May 8th. That's it for the rundown. Now here to join me is Scott P. Jones.
Hello.
Let's get to talking, Scott
Let's talk.
Jones.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, let's talk about Dragon Age Inquisition, because the DLC just came out for PC and Xbox owners. So people that have PS4s have to wait.
Okay,
you
so
don't seem
can
to
get
care
it on
about
the
this.
PC, you can get it on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
You can't get it if you're a PlayStation 4 owner yet, but
Yeah.
you're gonna be able to get it. I'm just making sure I understood your
It's a
story.
timed exclusive.
Okay, timed exclusive. I don't have any problem with this, mostly because I am a huge gamer and I'm a huge fan, and I almost always, all my life, I've mostly owned all the consoles. So
Yeah,
it's,
I know,
it's
but
not
you're not
really a
gonna-
ding.
Okay, but even if you own all the consoles, you only have one game for one console. You're not going to buy a game for each console that you have that's the same game.
But I don't know what the urgency is. I know you want to play this thing right now. The DLC, I'm sure, is wonderful. These guys are amazing at BioWare, but you're going to get it eventually, and you have to wait a little bit of time. It's business, baby. Not everybody can do everything at the same time,
No.
and I think you have to be okay with that.
I understand, but I have a PS4 copy of Dragon Age, so now I have to wait because I don't have my Xbox One
Are you
copy.
sad?
Well, I'm a little annoyed that other people are getting to play the game before I do. I like playing first. I want it first. Okay, let's move on to Arnold. Are you liking what he's getting done with?
This is strange. We just watched the trailer.
You didn't compliment my...
I'm the president. I knew you would do this someday.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't really have a good Arnold. We've got to get Jose on the show. He'll be on soon enough to do his Arnold. But listen, this was a surprising trailer. I'm surprised, and what surprises me is how serious and how dramatic it is, and maybe even melodramatic. I don't know, depending on how you feel.
I like this. It seems real. It also kind of reminds me of the governor in The Walking Dead because his daughter turned as well. Spoiler if you haven't been watching The Walking Dead.
I haven't. I'm not
But
caught up.
This was a long time ago. Okay,
Yeah.
you should know. But it's just funny that he's also the governor. But
Give me your Arnold impression. Let's hear it.
well, I did it before, but I'll give it to you again. Okay. Get to the chopper. Get down.
Get down. That one's working. The other one still needs some work. Let's move on, though.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
move
Yeah,
on.
we have a story with Will Ferrell.
Yeah, Will Ferrell plays a hedge fund manager. You're not going to believe this. And he gets in trouble for tax evasion.
Oh.
He's got to go to jail. And Kevin Hart is going to help him get through the experience. Sounds pretty funny to me.
Okay, this is Get Hard.
I sentence you to maximum security prison. You have 30 days to get your affairs in order.
I didn't do it!
It's a journey of two men who have no like or understanding of each other on either side of the world, and we get brought to a position where we're forced to understand and relate.
I'm going to be attending San Quentin.
They're sending you to San Quentin?
Yeah, damn!
Teach me how to survive in prison the way you did.
Wait, what?
I could pay you.
How do you know I went to prison?
It's really quite simple. Statistical analysis is what I do. Darnell is getting James ready for prison. He does that through a series of things. He trains him to to work on his mad dog face, which is, of course, your most intimidating face you can make when you're on the inside.
Oh, what are you doing, James?
I'm sad dogging you.
James.
I think that's a strategy that could work.
James got what he was lacking, which is a true friend. You know, everything that James had in his life was somewhat bought. It was all a facade. And me, he got somebody that was real, that talked to him a certain way when he should be talked to a certain way. Somebody that was honest, upfront, and didn't really kiss his ass.
Hello?
You ready, white boy? Pepper spray, bitch! Prison school is in session.
I'm learning so much. This is exactly what I need.
In the beginning of the movie, James is a guy who thinks he has friends, thinks he has a fiance, thinks he has a father figure, but everyone just tolerates him because of what they can get from him. It's very superficial, the world that he lives in. And he finds that in the end, he and Darnell have a lot more in common than the worlds that they're from. Just like Darnell doesn't really have anything in common with his cousin Russell, and ultimately has a lot more in common with James. That's sort of what we're talking about, is that people might not belong in the worlds that have been handed to them, that there's, you know, maybe something more real out there for them.
Just keep your head.
Ow! Oh!
God!
Throw it in a little deeper.
Oh, God! Oh, James, I'm sorry.
I think as long as you're listening, when you're working with someone as funny as Will Ferrell, someone as funny as Kevin Hart.
What the hell did you say? Stop! Stop! What is that?
Most of the work is done for you. You're just reacting and it's gonna be funny.
I have almost no cash. Just $9,000.
I got your keys.
Just so you know, I would have done the same thing if you were white.
That's good to know. People should go see the movie because Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart are in it. I don't think you have to say anything else, man. I mean, the title and the actors speak for itself. You got two guys who love to do what they do and enjoy doing it. So I think seeing them on this type of playing field is a different ballgame.
You got a roll, Mayo.
Who's Mayo?
It's my gang name. It's short for mayonnaise.
A little behind-the-scenes EP trivia for you. My gang name is actually Dijon Mustard, or the short version would be Dij. So I'm just Dij.
Just like from The Wire.
It is like The Wire.
My gang name would be Pesto, but there's no short form of that.
Just Pesto.
Just Pesto.
That's so hardcore, man.
I know. After the break, Scott and I are getting youthful with Ben Stiller.
Gang sign, yo.
Okay, don't do that. West Coast.
Uptown, I guess.
It's just a strained muscle. But the more concerning thing here is your arthritis.
Arthritis?
Yes, you have arthritis in your knee.
Kirby is one of the most versatile and treasured characters in video game history, and one of the most interesting games I've played in the Kirby franchise is Kirby Mass Attack, which was a DS game, of course will work on your 3DS. This is a wonderful experience, and partially because it's unlike anything you've played before. You're not just controlling one Kirby, you're controlling a whole handful of Kirbys, and you've got to collect them all and use their weight and their combined abilities to access different traps and treasures and unlock doors and bust through walls and, of course, consume all kinds of enemies. This is a very fun game that utilized the touchscreen very effectively using the stylus and the touchscreen on the DS or the 3DS. The graphics are fantastic. The music is super cheery and upbeat. It was a great surprise. It came out at the tail end of the DS's heyday. We were already getting prepared for the launch of the 3DS. Still, it's one of my favorite DS games, and if you've got the 3DS, somehow managed to skip the original DS, this is one to go hunt down and add to your collection. It's fantastic.
You know, Mass Attack in Japanese translates to Gather Kirby.
Very interesting. You really are a Renaissance woman.
Yeah.
You know, in Japanese, Marissa Roberto means woman who makes many strange spells.
Oh.
It's true.
Okay, here's a review of While We're Young.
It's just a strained muscle. But the more concerning thing here is your arthritis.
Arthritis?
Yes, you have arthritis in your knee.
My movie-going partner, Marissa Roberto, and I saw a new film. This is called While We're Young. It stars Ben Stiller and Naomi Watts, who play an older middle-aged couple who befriend a much younger couple played by Adam Driver and Amanda Seyfried. It's directed by Noah Baumbach, who you may recognize from The Squid and the Whale and Frances Ha, which you enjoyed. Yeah, I didn't like Frances Ha that much.
Okay, well, it has the same kind of vibe in this movie, though, because it just seems as though it's all a coming-of-age thing. Even though Ben Stiller and Naomi Watts have already come of a certain age, they're in their 40s, and they're still trying to find their way in life. Ben Stiller is a documentarian who doesn't really want help from anyone else. Naomi Watts and her father in particular, because he is a famous documentarian. And then Adam Driver is attracted to this couple because he himself is a filmmaker and wants to be someone.
I really loved your film, Power Elite. You've seen it.
It's just an older couple becoming enamored with a younger couple and trying to decide if that's maybe the life they still want to live.
I was really excited to see this film because I like Noah Baumbach as a director. I feel like he makes very intelligent, interesting films, and he deals with a lot of the issues that I deal with in my own regular day-to-day life. But the detraction here is just like Greenberg. It stars Ben Stiller, who I always have a little bit of a problem with. He's just made this kind of Woody Allen for the new age neuroses into his mode of operation.
This is arthritis.
Arthritis? Arthritis?
Yes. I usually just say it once.
It's just not that enjoyable or that credible to watch. And so I think that's one negative for me. But that said, I still enjoyed a lot of this movie. I feel like there are great moments in there that I've continued to think about, even though we saw the movie a couple days ago.
That's a good point for the movie, though, is that it does let you and it does allow you to think about it when you walk away from it. So that's a point toward the movie. There's a lot of moments in the movie while I was sitting there, though, that I just hated. I was so annoyed with, particularly with Ben Stiller, so I'm glad you brought that up. I know that he's playing a character, but it always seems like every time I watch him in a movie, he's playing that same character that I'm never really going to like. I would never be friends with this guy in real life. He just seems like a big man baby. I did really enjoy Naomi Watts, though. She is fantastic. I love her, that she's playing this 40-something. She looks like a 40-something, but a beautiful 40-something that really has had to make certain decisions about her life. The whole kids topic comes up in this, which I think is really prevalent right now. I feel like a lot of people are talking about it.
For you?
Not just for me, but for other people as well. Like other women, they're becoming a certain age and deciding if they should have kids or not because they feel like society's putting the pressure on them to have children, but you don't want to miss a certain point in your life where you can't have kids anymore. So that's a topic that's being discussed here that I found to be really interesting.
I didn't know you guys wanted kids.
You guys should do it.
Yeah.
You would make such good parents.
The end really falls apart. I lost my patience in the final third of this movie, and I liked some of the questions that it was asking and some of the issues it was trying to wrestle with, but it ultimately didn't arrive at a very satisfying or believable conclusion. It also felt a little tedious in the third act. I still think it's a very watchable movie. I love the fact that it's a movie that asks these questions that really aren't, maybe they're being asked more often now, but they're not commonly asked in art.
Right, it's watchable, it's real, it's awkward, but a real life kind of awkward, which I enjoyed. Amanda Seyfried was fantastic. And you know what? Ad Rock is in this. Adam Horowitz, he's in this. I didn't even realize it was him because he got old too. Everyone's
Everyone's
getting
old now,
older
except for me and Vic.
How old are they?
25, 26, 27.
What are you going to score at, Marissa Roberto?
Gets a 7.
Gets a 6.5 from me. So, unfortunately, while we're young, made us both a little old. Frowny face.
Yeah, it's so true. Well, I mean, you more than me. So, after the break, we've got Capitalism, and it rules.
You get off my lawn, you kids. I'm going to the mall.
EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Dragon Mania Legends, which you can play for free right now.
Took a quick trip down to Seattle, and on the way down, because it's a short flight, I downloaded a game called Adventure Capitalist because I like to make some money. And in this game, of course, it is free. I always get attracted to these freemium games. This game, you make money, and you make money, not real money, but you make in-game money by opening up first a lemonade stand, and then you expand, you open a newspaper, and then you open plenty of these places to make more money. And all you're really doing in this game is tapping each icon, like tapping the lemon to make lemonade. And then you go and you make more newspapers by tapping newspapers. What you can do is then hire managers with the money that you make to tap for you. I know it sounds really silly, and you're really just looking at icons on the screen, but it's fun to watch you level up each item and make all this money, and you make money really quickly. And then when you do that, you get to open more things. Like right now, I just unlocked a bank, so I am rolling in it. I know I'm gonna get sick of this game, of course, because it's a freemium game, but it was a fun ride on the way down, and I'm probably gonna play it on the way back. But after about 2 hours with this thing, I'm gonna let it go. But I want you to try it out because it's fun to make that dough. I'm giving Adventure Capitalist a 7 out of 10.
Very interesting review there, Roberto. Now, listen, While We're Young wasn't the only film that she and I saw together this week. Do you notice my popcorn bloat? It Follows, the new film in the supernatural genre, is getting a wider release. Did Marissa survive the screening? Oh.
Didn't get a lot of sleep last night thanks to Scott C. Jones because he recommended that we review a movie
Listen,
that I did not want to review. It's called It Follows.
Yes,
This is a horror movie.
It is a horror movie.
It's
I've been a
getting a lot
big
of
fan
attention.
of horror movies since I was a young boy. I like movies that scare the crap out of me. You, however, don't like movies that scare you at all. One of the things I really like about it is it has an authenticity and a credibility that you can appreciate and enjoy, and that very few horror films in the course of the history of horror films have.
Well, I'm not too big in the history of horror films, and I try to avoid them. I know, of course, but this does have a very old school feel about it. It has this very eerie undertone, and then what's happening in this movie is just very interesting when you think about it, because it's more like a movie about preaching against having sex.
Yeah.
Because it's an STD, or sexually transmitted demon almost, that is being transmitted.
It's impossible to see this movie and not think of that subtext for sure. And you're right, it does feel like a health class film that you would see. And I think that's one of the things that made me like it at first and then not like it as the movie goes on. I mean, what happens is basically the star of the film is a young woman named Jay, and this woman ends up having sex with a guy she doesn't know very well. And so he introduces her to a creature that ends up, it was following him, but after they have sex, then it's following her.
Right, but if she doesn't have sex with someone else and pass the creature along, the creature gets her, then the creature will go back to the person that just had sex with her.
If it kills her, it gets me. And goes straight down the line to whoever started it.
I like the way that the shots are framed. There's always little weird bits in all of the rooms. You know, like she's in a girl's bedroom, but there's a weird lamp in it. And all the little weird touches in the film kind of make it come alive for me. And you know, I love the concept of it. I really did. The first third of this movie is probably the scariest first third of anything I've seen since Insidious a few years ago. It's very hard to find a terrific scary movie. And I thought this one had a lot of hope, but then it kind of falls apart in the middle.
Right, it's scary because of all the quiet, and I think the testament to a good horror movie is how long it sticks with you after. So the title is It Follows, but it did follow me when I left the film as well, and I didn't realize it because I was just at home with the lights on and everything was fine. But the second I left my place, I just went across the street to get groceries, then I just realized I was outside now, and there could be something that maybe is following me. And the whole thing about this, and the one line that stuck with me, is the fact that you cannot be in a room with only one exit, because she may be slow, but she's not stupid. So, and he was referring to the creature that follows.
Right?
So, yes, the creature doesn't move very quickly, but the fact that it's just a steady walk, that just stuck with me so heavily, and I can't seem to shake it.
So unnerving. And, you know, I mean, honestly, I remember seeing, I hate to say this, the Blair Witch Project in a tiny little screening room in New York, and it was late at night. And that movie scared the hell out of me. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I always remember from that is that I didn't really understand it. And that's kind of true of this movie. I don't really know who all these creatures are that are following her, and you do see different weird ones. I don't want to spoil too much. The less I say about it, especially if you're planning on seeing it, the better. But I like the fact that so little of this makes sense. I like the fact that so little of it is logical and understandable, and nothing is really ever explained. We don't ever know how this started. We don't know where this evil came from. We don't really know how to fight it off. If you're a horror film fan, you gotta see it. 7 out of 10.
I reluctantly agree with you. 7 out of 10.
Yes. Well, that was an interesting little movie, though. Like I said in the review, it needed a stronger third act, and I'm also sleeping with the lights on for the rest of the week. Listen, Twitter question of the day is up next.
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to EP Daily. It's time now for the best part of today's show. It is the Twitter question of the day. This one comes from David Turner. He's at Victor Made Me. He asks, what's your guilty pleasure Razzie-nominated movie? Mine's Tango and Cash.
Oh, David Turner, a.k.a. Victor Made Me. He's been on the show many times before, back when we used to do the old reviews on the Run days. Nice to see you again, sir. Tango and Cash, that's a very erotic experience. But I don't think I would pick that one.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know what movies have been nominated or not for Razzies. I'm not up on that, but I can guess that some of the movies that I've enjoyed have probably been nominated, like Dirty Dancing 2, Havana Nights. That one was a good one. I like that one.
Terrible taste, my friend.
Diego Luna.
Well, listen, a couple of movies. Oh, you got more movies?
Well, I was going to say Spice World.
Spice World, okay, that's awful too. And I'm glad that you finally admitted that in public. For me, I would say, and you're going to be mad at me when I say this, Starship Troopers was wonderful, and there were a whole bunch of sequels. Don't watch those. Watch the original, the Paul Verhoeven. Say it with me.
You think that was nominated for a Razzie?
I don't know. It was kind of not everybody. Everyone has mixed feelings about it. And the other one, the classic one from when I was a kid, was Evil Dead 2, which was unbelievable. I love movies like that. I love those little sort of homemade movies that feels like a bunch of kids shot over the course of a weekend.
But in general, Scott C. Jones doesn't like Razzie-nominated movies. You don't like most movies in general.
No, I don't have a lot of guilty pleasures except for the obvious ones.
All right, EP Daily is done for another day, but you can check out full episodes, extended interviews, previews, reviews, and everything else we do all at epn.tv.
You see what I see? Just over that way, we've got some new EP Daily stories cooking, including a behind-the-scenes look at the upcoming Wii U title, Splatoon. See you tomorrow.
EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox.
With this game specifically, we hit upon something that could be really enjoyable by players of all ages. So whether you come at it from an angle like I'm a grizzled shooter veteran or I'm completely new, I've never even played a shooter game online before, there's something for everyone. You can play online with Turf War and immediately start having fun.